Hold up.
Hey guys, it is Tristan with NewsStand, and we got an amazing announcement today. I kind of was expecting to hear about because we do have DC Comics solicitation coming on Friday, and I knew this was going to be a big story if it dropped in March. Now, what I'm specifically talking about is a pretty well-beloved franchise or spin-off when it comes to Batman, and that is Sean Gordon Murphy returning to his White Knight universe, or the Murphyverse, whichever you prefer, and I'm really excited to see this. I love the idea of having a Batman Beyond storyline, though I do feel like there is a minor missed opportunity because we're going to go over the IGN article, but there is going to be a 10-year gap in between this story and the previous ones we had run. And I think that would be the Harley Quinn mini by his wife. And I do feel like there's a lot of stories that could be told in that 10 years with the growing up of the girls and such. But I understand why they are going this way. They want to bring in Terry McGinnis. They want to bring in that IP that is really also very beloved. So I am excited to see this. You know what? Let's be real here. I just love the babies. I love the little kids and they're so cute, and now they're going to be tweens. Yeah, what? Probably, I would imagine 11 or 12. So we're going to talk about them towards the end, but let's talk about what is actually happening with Sean Gordon Murphy in this universe, because there is a lot, and he did an interview about it, and he said this series is designed to check all the boxes of what readers love about Batman Beyond, but it also plays with some of the pieces in a very different way. I love that. I love the idea of kind of knowing, maybe knowing a little bit, but I don't want to hear the same story over and over and over again. Give us your spin. Give us your spin, really, with this universe set in reality, right? Reinventing some of the characters and taking a different approach on a few of the plot points. The idea is to make a unique but familiar. Not only are the influences of the Dark Knight in there, but also Blade Runner, apparently, Spider-Man 2099, Ghost in the Shell, and a dozen other things. I feel like you're saying everything is in there and the kitchen sink. Like, we're just going to probably get the main characters and then, we're going to have powers and everything else. But I don't know what to make of that. It kind of gets me excited and then also confused at the same time. And that's great. When I was a kid watching Batman Beyond, I thought, how did Gotham evolve so much in Bruce's lifetime? From black and white TV to flying cars. Well, you're not really supposed to ask stuff like that. It's the White Knight tradition to use real-world thinking to enhance Batman's fictional world, making it more believable. In this case, Gotham is able to evolve relatively quickly into Neo-Gotham because Bruce gave his fortune away at the end of the last volume. And this influx of money, resources, social programming, etc. changes everything, but not in the way you had hoped. So this is kind of an answer to that age-old thing that goes around about every 6 months. Why doesn't Bruce Wayne just give his money away? He could totally, make everything better in Gotham. He just beats up on mentally ill people. It looks like we're going to kind of dive into that maybe a little bit, right? There's a civil war brewing in Neo-Gotham, and it's around this very question. Okay, all right, so we've got Dick Grayson leading the GTO with a bunch of tanks, claiming that crime is down to zero. So we've got the magistrate the nicest way possible. Though, to be fair, this was much ahead of the time of the magistrate's inception, right? Opposing him is Babs, leading the GCPD, claiming that the GTO has turned the city into a inhumane police state that is causing higher rates of taxes, homelessness, suicides, and depression. Okay, All right, I like the idea, and I wonder how it's going to be to see Nightwing and Barbara at each other's necks instead of, well, quite literally on each other. Initially, when it came to Barbara, I wasn't the biggest fan of her in this series, and she definitely grew on me. It's definitely, obviously, all of these characters are different versions. I can't imagine Dick Grayson in continuity having anything to do with the police force. So it is going to be very interesting to see. He continued, not only does Bruce see his incarceration as a way to pay for his sins, but it's also a chance for Gotham to move beyond Batman. And when he sees the effect Batman's legacy still has on everyone, Bruce has no choice but to escape and try to set things right. Not only is he out to stop Dick and the prodigal son, but to bring down Terry in his stolen Beyond suit. Now, I'm assuming that will probably go a little bit further to the point that we see Terry accepted by Bruce, right? And I love we're doing, there is some preview pages, right? And I love the brush of gray look on a lot of these superheroes, even Jason. And then we see it, quite almost all gray with Bruce. And it looks amazing. I love the way these look. I've always been a huge fan ever since Punk Rock Jesus and stuff of Sean Gordon Murphy's art and his work in general. But I think he does a really good job reimagining these characters. And I'm curious what we're going to see when it comes to Derek Powers. Now, he does say it wouldn't be a Beyond book without Derek Powers in this story. And him having a secret that leads to the death of Terry's father. Way to give away a spoiler, Sean. Okay, we all knew it was a spoiler. Anyways, but in order to hint him a bit, I added a compelling backstory that involved him working with Thomas Wayne's company under the tutelage of Mr. Freeze. Ooh, okay. There's also personal grudge between him and Batman, and I won't spoil it here. Now, the only thing I don't like about people doing interviews and spoiling stuff is you kind of got to look at it, and I understand this is a spinoff, right? This is a spinoff of a spinoff, and I hope there is so many more to come. This is one of the great stories that's going to go down with the likes of, The Dark Knight Returns and Nightfall and No Man's Land, but you got to present it like it's everybody's first comic book. So some people may not know some of this stuff, and that's okay. And I think that this is one of those true series that could bring in new people, right? This is one of those true series that people could pick up and enjoy. They don't have to know continuity. And that is why a lot of people head to manga, because it's volume 1 and 2, that's it. It's a complete story. Well, you've kind of got the same in this universe. So you've got to treat it as such. So he goes on to say about his wife, Katana Collins, wrote the 6-issue book called Harley Quinn, right? White Knight Presents. I did a full complete breakdown on that so long ago, it's probably embarrassing, but I will link it up in the cards. It was with Matteo Scalera, who I absolutely love, but did a really good job of making it look almost like Sean Gordon Murphy's art. I think it was the Me You Love in the Dark Matteo just did recently. So good. But he says that was one of his goals, was to continue that story and beyond. Her and the Joker's twins are now tweens, and they are starting to show their true colors. Well, Bryce seems to have inherited all the good things from her and Jack Napier. Jackie is becoming obsessed with the Joker. We did get a teaser image I will show you after this. When Jackie discovers a massive secret about her mother and Bruce, she decides to run away. Will Bruce be able to find her? And what does Powers want with her? Well, probably to use her as leverage of some sort. And of course, Bruce will be able to find her, but it's the journey, right? And I love the idea that we're going to get that dichotomy, right? That dichotomy that lives within Jack Napier, we're going to see come out in the twins. And I really think that's awesome. Their design is great. They look just like their mother, right? Which was to be expected, but I am curious to see how they do this story with the kids. Honestly, I'm more invested in that kind of stuff. Now, he does go on to talk about Jason. And I guess Jason, and I didn't even realize it, Jason was the first Robin in this universe. So it started as actually a accident. And they decided just not to fix it and embrace it and move forward, right? So we're also going to see later on this year, Red Hood. It is a 2-part spinoff called White Knight, Jason Todd. That'll be released later this year, and that'll introduce a new Robin to the White Knight universe. Wonder if it'll be Carrie Kelly. Maybe a little Carrie Kelly in there. Maybe we'll get some maps. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But this is awesome. Like, I may have sounded like I was a little critical of it, and I don't mean to, but that's just because I'm so close to this property. I'm like one of those entitled fans, and I don't mean to come off that way at all. I am extremely, extremely excited for this and the spinoff. I cannot wait to see, because I loved this whole universe. But specifically, I am a massive Harley Quinn fan, and his wife's work on Harley Quinn redefined how Harley Quinn was, in a way. It made her own character, both separate from Bruce, separate from being a mother, separate from being Jack Napier's, girlfriend at one time, or being Neo Joker's adversary. She got her own adversary. And I really, really liked it. So I do hope that we get a good, solid spotlight on Harley and on the children and on that weird relationship between her and Bruce, because I think there's more to that story than what we actually know. But this is fantastic. I am so excited for this. And I love Batman Beyond, but I'm not like the biggest Batman Beyond fan. There are much bigger fans out there. So the stuff around it interests me more, and how he adapts it and puts it into this world that is fresh, and, the paint's still wet on this world in a way. And I'm curious to see how that can be done. Anyways, let me know, of course, what you guys think, if you are looking forward to this. If you are not, let me know down below. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.